to do these experiments on in order to come about with this kind of action. And I'm gonna tell you something. You remember that riot they had starting over the five again? You remember that riot they had in Baltimore?
Mm-hmm.
You remember how all that junk went down? I mean, that was crazy, man. I mean, that noise that everybody was hearing for almost 24 hours and couldn't get across. What is that hum we kept hearing? And nobody we kept, and then they organized it to where all the bus lines would close down, wouldn't pick the kids up at school, which left the kids outside by themselves. And then they started a ruckus, got all them kids involved in it so that they could film it and make it look like it was a riot. And we sitting there in the midst of this trying to figure out how in the hell did this happen? Somebody set that all up,
Mm-hmm.
an experiment. So when I see stuff like this, it's wrong. And you know I'm telling you, I ain't agreeing with this kind of stuff. But there's a reason behind this, and people don't never want to deal with how did people get like this, and what can we do to stop that behavior, because this is the outcome of it. This is like after you can see the flower. You need to get to the root of this thing. Yeah.
Now, here's what's crazy that you say that. I'm gonna make this uh I'm gonna make this hard to understand for a lot of folks so they don't think I'm just out there throwing everything out. Um so there was a thought a while ago, a couple years ago, that in a particular show they showcased that the sky was always blue, right? And they always had these flowers in the sky. No one ever thought anything about it because we thought it was just, flowers. It's a cartoon. Didn't mean anything. Come to find out later, the whole thing about this particular show was fantasy. The poppy seeds, hallucinogens. They were trying to get you to see that the sky was always blue because these poppy seeds were in the sky, that they had spores that were coming out,
Mm-hmm.
that were flying across the air. So it was changing how people were thinking, doing things, the way people reacted to certain things, how people were eating, how people mentally were
You know
doing.
they did that,
Hmm.
but they didn't do it with the spores. They did it with LSD
Hmm.
in the water supply. You know, and they
Men that
would go to
stare at
these
goats
communities.
talk about that, y'all.
Yeah, we go to these communities, man, and spike the water, and then people be hallucinating and not knowing what the hell going on. And man, I tell you, it's just stupid how degenerate human beings can be towards one another. You know, the heinous things that they can just do to one another, just for the pleasure of watching another soul suffer. That's all that's about.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Man,
we talk about that one thing I was going to
it's
talk about,
ridiculous.
the chick that they killed, that the one guy that was a migrant that had been in the country illegally. They done had him in custody several times and let him go for other reasons. And he's going out, and now he went and beat this girl up from the University of Yamaha. I, I don't want to say the name because I'm not sure, but yeah, this just happened.
Mm.
And so now they're going to try to blame Biden because they're going to try to say, well, Biden don't have a good cover over the support over the border and allow this kind of stuff to come over because this guy had sneaked across the border. But the Democrats had a border bill, and the Republicans that would have allowed them to have more people down there to keep this sort of thing from happening, and the Republicans denied it because Trump said he wanted to use it for the campaign on his career. He says, "So kill it so that I can talk about it and make it look like I did it." And he's telling people that